Myth or real? This is Robin Hood is one of the most enigmatic figures in medieval history. Known as the outlaw who stole from the rich and gave to the poor, Robin Hood transcends the role of a popular hero. His story has been told in many ways over the centuries, but the big question remains, was Robin Hood a real figure, or is he just a myth that evolved over time? In this video, we'll dive into the origins of this story. We'll explore the historical elements, the possible inspirations for the legend, and the many versions of this narrative that have survived through the ages. We'll also compare the myth with reality and try to answer the big question. Was Robin Hood real, or is he a popular invention? Get ready for a journey through time as we uncover the mysteries behind this figure that continues to fascinate generations. The story of Robin Hood likely began with the popular ballads of medieval England around the 13th century. In the earliest mentions, Robin Hood wasn't necessarily a hero, but rather a figure living outside the law and society. A story of a simple man, but highly skilled, hiding in the forest to fight corruption, and the abuses of the powerful resonated deeply with the peasants and lower classes. These ballads spoke of Robin Hood as someone who, with his skill in archery, could escape the authorities' pursuit while still helping the needy. But what historians question is, did Robin Hood really exist, or is he just an idealized figure from medieval times? Ballads like Robin Hood and the Outlaws and the Death of Robin Hood helped cement the idea of a hero who defied authority and sought justice. But these stories, over time, gained layers of mythology, leaving behind any trace of concrete facts. There are some historical figures that may have influenced the creation of the Robin Hood legend. The most notable is Robert Hood, who is said to have been a real bandit in the 13th century, active in the forests of Yorkshire. Some historians believe that the name Hood could have been the origin of Robin Hood, as both names have similarities and may have been used to describe similar figures. Besides Robert Hood, historical records mention other outlaws and mercenaries who could have served as inspiration. The name Robin or Robert was common among outlaws, and the idea of a hood, a cloak or cap, could be a reference to the disguise they used to hide their identity. It is possible that the figure of Robin Hood was created from the merging of various stories about these bandits from the forest. To better understand the possible origin of Robin Hood, we need to look at the historical context of the time he emerged. Medieval England was immersed in an oppressive feudal system, where peasants were forced to pay heavy taxes to the nobles, while many of them lived in dire conditions. This created discontent and uprisings among the lower classes, who sought justice and equality. At that time, peasants were forced to work on the nobles' lands, and any attempt at protest or resistance was seen as a crime. Robin Hood, as a mythical figure, could have been a personification of the desire for justice and resistance against this system. Another important point to understand the origin of the Robin Hood legend is the reign of King John, the brother of Richard the Lionheart, who ruled England during the late 12th and early 13th centuries. John was an unpopular king, known for his oppressive economic policies, such as raising taxes and confiscating peasants' lands. The dissatisfaction with his rule sparked a series of revolts, and it is possible that stories about outlaws like Robin Hood spread as a form of popular expression against tyranny. The figure of the outlaw was a way to symbolize the fight against abuse of power, a hero who stole from the rich and gave to the poor, something that resonated strongly with peasants who were constantly exploited. As the story of Robin Hood evolved, it strayed further from historical reality and gained mythical elements. Sherwood Forest, where Robin and his companions hid, became a magical, almost supernatural place where heroes faced evil and defied authorities. Robin Hood's extraordinary skill with a bow and arrow is one of the most famous elements of the legend. His bow is often described as something almost mystical, a weapon that represented his skill and bravery. But does this have any real basis? Or is it just a narrative device created to make the story more exciting? Robin Hood's companions like Little John, Friar Tuck, and Will Scarlet are also essential characters of the legend, representing values like loyalty, courage, and friendship. Each of these characters has their own story, but together they form a kind of brotherhood that fights for a common good. However, there are no historical records proving the existence of these characters. The legend of Robin Hood didn't die with the medieval ballads. It remained alive, being adapted over the centuries. From theater to modern cinematic adaptations, Robin Hood continues to be a prominent figure in popular culture. Movies like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and series like Robin Hood Origins modernize the legend, but still preserve the spirit of resistance and the fight for justice. The fact that Robin Hood has been a popular figure for so long may be proof of the profound impact he had on society. The idea of a hero fighting for the poor and oppressed resonates with different generations, regardless of the historical context. The legacy of Robin Hood goes beyond the stories told over the centuries. He became a symbol of resistance against oppression and a figure that represents values like courage, loyalty, and justice. Even without certainty about his real existence, Robin Hood became an archetypal figure, representing the fight for a fairer world. His legacy goes far beyond the legend. He reminds us of the importance of the struggle against social injustice in any time or place. And now we come to the big question. Was Robin Hood a real historical figure, or is he just a myth created to inspire generations to fight for justice? We can't claim that Robin Hood ever existed as a single historical person, but the story we know today is the sum of several real and mythical figures. The legend developed over the centuries, incorporating historical, social, and cultural elements. What really matters is the impact that the Robin Hood legend had and continues to have on society. Whether real or fictional, the idea of Robin Hood as a popular hero is something that transcends history and continues to influence global culture. So, what do you think? Was Robin Hood truly a hero who defied the authorities of his time? Or is he just a legend created to reflect the people's desire for justice? The story of Robin Hood, like many other legends, makes us question what is real and what is myth. But in the end, what matters is that the legend of Robin Hood remains alive, whether as a true story or as a symbol of resistance and justice. So keep following us here on the channel. Every story we tell is an invitation for you to explore the truth and fantasy behind the world's greatest legends. Subscribe now and hit the bell to never miss a story. Because in the end, the question is always the same. Is it myth or reality?